Have you ever felt like some people just have life on their side? As if luck always finds them? As if doors open for them at the perfect moment, without even trying? What if I told you? It's not luck. It's something much deeper. Let me ask you, have you ever met a Gemini? Or maybe you are one. Always moving, always changing, always curious. But what if those traits weren't random? What if their restless energy, their charm, their quick mind, were actually signs of something bigger? Something spiritual. Something divine. Today, we're going to explore a truth few people understand. A truth hidden behind smiles. Behind endless conversations, behind every typical Gemini trait. We'll discover why Gemini isn't just another zodiac sign, but a soul that life itself seems to protect. But this video isn't just about astrology. It's about human nature. About understanding the hidden forces that shape our minds, our emotions, our decisions, and even our destiny. So, if you're ready to uncover the secret reasons why Gemini seems guided, protected, and favored by life, stay with me. What you're about to learn may change how you see yourself and those around you forever. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video. Share it with someone who needs this message, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. Let's dive in. Have you ever looked at a Gemini and wondered, what's really happening behind that smile? Behind those fast-moving conversations and restless thoughts? You see, most people think Gemini is simple. A talkative sign. A curious sign. But what if I told you, there's a secret world inside every Gemini? A world that even they don't always understand. A world where emotions and logic constantly wrestle, guiding their every step. That's not a weakness. It's their inner compass. Think about it. Every day, Geminis face decisions like all of us. But unlike others, they carry two voices in their mind. One logical. One emotional. One tells them to think carefully. The other whispers to follow their heart. This inner dialogue isn't a curse. It's protection. Because while others rush forward blinded by one perspective, Gemini steps back. They see both sides. Both truths. And that ability? It's rare. It's powerful. It's what helps them avoid countless mistakes before they happen. Maybe you know someone like that. Someone who hesitates before deciding. Someone who listens more than they speak, even if they talk a lot. Someone who seems calm even when life feels chaotic. That's not indecision. That's their mind working overtime to protect them. Maybe it's you. But there's something more hidden beneath. Humor. Playfulness. The side of Gemini everyone loves. But few realize it's a shield. Think of the friend who cracks a joke when the mood turns heavy. Or the person who lightens the room after an argument. That's not just their nature. It's how they cope. It's how they process pain without sinking into it. Their laughter isn't avoidance. It's healing. It's their way of carrying sadness without showing it. And sometimes, their own jokes are the only thing keeping their heart from breaking. Life isn't easy for minds that never rest. Imagine constantly analyzing everything. Every word. Every action. Every silence. For Gemini, this isn't a choice. It's how their brain works. But here's the beautiful part. They don't give up. Even when life gets heavy, they choose optimism. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Staying hopeful is their survival instinct. Like someone lighting a candle in the darkest room, they use their optimism to see their next step. Not just for themselves, but for everyone around them. Think of that friend who always says, "It'll work out somehow." That's not naivety. That's courage disguised as faith. And what drives this endless hope? Curiosity. But not the childish kind. It's deeper. It's a hunger for understanding life itself. Gemini doesn't just want answers. They crave meaning. They need to know why people act the way they do. Why life unfolds the way it does. You'll see it in how they ask questions that seem random. Or how they stay awake late at night thinking about conversations from years ago. This isn't just curiosity. It's their soul searching for clarity in a world full of shadows. Curiosity protects them. Because by constantly learning, constantly questioning, Gemini avoids stagnation. They avoid getting trapped in narrow thinking. They protect themselves from ignorance. And every truth they uncover is like another step away from danger. Maybe you've seen this too. That Gemini who's always reading something new. Trying a new hobby. Asking questions that others avoid. They're not wasting time. They're building inner strength. So, what can we learn from them? Maybe the next time you're caught between head and heart. Remember the Gemini's secret. Listen to both. Maybe when life feels heavy, allow yourself a moment of lightness. A joke. A smile. Like Gemini does. Maybe when darkness clouds your path. Light your own candle of hope, even if it feels small. And when you feel lost, ask questions. Be curious. Like the Gemini who never stops searching for the hidden truth. Because that search? It's not about finding answers. It's about protecting your soul from giving up. Geminis remind us that the mind and heart aren't enemies. They're partners. And in that delicate balance, in that constant dance between laughter and tears, questions and answers, doubt and hope, that's where life happens. And perhaps, just perhaps, that's where divine protection begins. Have you ever felt that restless urge to move? That quiet discomfort when life feels too still? For Gemini, that's not impatience. It's something deeper. It's a need to keep evolving. Like a river that never stops flowing, they feel life pushing them forward. Some might call it wanderlust. But in truth, it's their soul's way of protecting them from stagnation. Because for Gemini, staying still means getting trapped. Trapped in a version of themselves that no longer fits. You might know someone like that. The friend who switches careers, or starts over in a new city, or constantly picks up new hobbies. People may think they're indecisive. But look closer. They're not escaping life. They're chasing growth. Every change is their way of surviving. Reinventing themselves again and again. Not because they're lost. But because they understand, life is about becoming. And when life tries to trap them in places that drain their spirit, they choose movement. Not running away, but moving forward. Their mind works the same way. Always shifting. Always adapting. Their identity isn't fixed, and that's their strength. Gemini teaches us that who you were yesterday doesn't have to define who you are today. That it's okay to wake up one morning and choose a new path. Reinvention isn't failure. It's self-protection. It's choosing to grow. But even with all that movement, Gemini never moves blindly. Their curiosity drives them, but so does their mind's agility. They see problems differently. Where others see walls, they see puzzles. Life's challenges become questions to solve, not obstacles to fear. And this mindset saves them, time and time again. Maybe you've seen it. That friend who, when everything seems to fall apart, suddenly comes up with a solution no one else saw. That person who finds the side door when everyone else is stuck at the gate. That's not luck. It's their way of thinking. Problems don't paralyze them. Problems activate them. This ability isn't just mental. It's emotional too. Gemini doesn't let emotions trap them. They use their cleverness to navigate pain, to find hope when it feels buried. To seek answers when life feels confusing. Their mind is their compass, but their questions are their fuel. And beneath that sharp mind is a hunger. a hunger for knowledge that never ends. They don't read just to pass time. They don't learn for the sake of information. Their thirst for learning is their way of building armor. Every new insight makes them stronger. Every new idea widens their path forward. The more they know, the more life opens up. Learning protects them. Because ignorance isn't an option for a mind like theirs. Staying uneducated, uncurious, uninspired, that's what would truly harm them. Think about your own life for a moment. How often do you stop seeking? How often do you settle for answers that don't feel right? Gemini reminds us, learning is never over. Whether it's a new skill, a new perspective, or a deeper understanding of yourself, growth is always possible. And necessary. But here's something few notice about Gemini. Behind their clever solutions, behind their endless learning, there's a special kind of charm. Not the fake smile kind of charm. The real one. The kind that makes you feel safe. The kind that opens people's hearts. That charm isn't just social. It's their hidden gift. A tool they use to build bridges instead of walls. To soften conflicts before they start. To disarm hostility before it grows. Have you ever watched someone walk into a tense room and, with just a few words, change the entire energy? That's Gemini magic. Not manipulation. But connection. Their charm lets people lower their guard. It creates space for honesty, for healing, for understanding. It's how they survive in a world that can often feel harsh. And it's how they help others survive too. In this, Gemini teaches us a simple truth: kindness can be strength. Connection can be protection. You don't need to win every argument. Sometimes, simply making someone feel seen is enough. Gemini doesn't charm to impress. They charm to connect. To create safety for themselves and for everyone around them. And this is what makes Gemini so unique. Their restless energy, their adaptable mind, their endless curiosity. And their gentle charm, all of it works together. Like different instruments playing the same song. A song that says, keep growing, keep moving, keep connecting. Keep seeking. But what if I told you, we're only halfway through this journey? Because the next insights we'll explore go even deeper. They reveal how Gemini reads human emotions like an open book, how their intuition quietly protects them, and how fate itself seems to guide their steps in ways most people never notice. The final 3 truths might just change the way you understand not only Gemini, but yourself. Stay with me. What's coming next is the heart of it all. Have you ever met someone who just seems to feel things before they happen? Someone who senses when something's wrong, even when no one says a word? That's often a Gemini. And what most people don't know is that their sharp intuition works like a quiet guardian. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It's those small inner nudges that tell them when to walk away, when to pause, when to trust. Their mind is fast, but their instincts are faster. And here's the fascinating part, that intuition isn't magic. It's the result of a mind that listens carefully to details, to patterns, to emotions that others ignore. Gemini picks up what others miss. And without even realizing it, they're protecting themselves, again and again. Maybe you've felt it too. That strange sensation that something isn't right. That moment when you couldn't explain why, but you just knew. Gemini lives in that space more than most. Their mind processes signals under the surface. And those signals help them avoid dangers they can't even name yet. In life, trusting that quiet voice inside you can be the difference between regret and relief. Gemini teaches us, listen to your instincts. Even when logic says otherwise. But their gift doesn't stop at intuition. It shows in how they speak, how they connect, how they resolve conflict. Gemini has a hidden talent few people see for what it really is. The gift of persuasion. You might think persuasion means manipulation. But not for Gemini. For them, persuasion is their way of building peace. When situations get tense, when people start clashing, Gemini steps in, not to win, but to heal. Their words calm. Their tone softens. Their presence diffuses tension before it turns into damage. Have you ever been in an argument, then suddenly someone's words shifted everything? That moment when you stopped feeling angry and started feeling understood? That's what Gemini does naturally. They listen, not just to words, but to emotions. They respond, not just to opinions, but to fears. And without realizing it, they help others drop their defenses. Their persuasive voice is a quiet guide toward connection, not control. This ability protects them too. By creating harmony around them, they avoid unnecessary battles. They prevent relationships from shattering. And they open doors where others only saw walls. In your own life, remember this: words can be weapons. But they can also be bridges. Like Gemini, choose to build bridges. Their flexibility helps them in another way that's even more powerful. It's not just physical movement or career changes. It's emotional and spiritual reinvention. When life becomes heavy, when relationships turn toxic, when their environment no longer feels safe, Gemini doesn't stay trapped. They pivot. They shift. They recreate themselves. This isn't running away. It's choosing freedom. Think about how often we stay in places that drain us. A job that steals our joy. A relationship that breaks us piece by piece. A mindset that keeps us stuck. Gemini reminds us, change is always an option. Reinvention is always possible. You are not obligated to remain who the world expects you to be. Like a snake shedding its skin, Gemini knows when it's time to let go of what no longer serves them. And in doing so, they protect their soul. Maybe you need that reminder right now. That your life is allowed to change. That your story is still being written. And that sometimes, starting over is the bravest thing you can do. But even when they're changing, Gemini never loses one thing: their humor, their laughter, their playful spirit. It's easy to dismiss this as just a lighthearted trait. But for Gemini, humor is survival. When life gets dark, they find ways to smile. When sadness tries to take hold, they crack a joke, not to avoid it, but to keep moving forward. Their laughter is a rebellion against despair. Think of the people who've been through the hardest times yet still manage to make others laugh. People who carry pain in their hearts, but joy on their faces. That's Gemini energy. Not fake positivity, but the choice to focus on the light when darkness surrounds them. Their sense of humor protects them from sinking too deep. It keeps their spirit alive. And their laughter spreads, helping others breathe lighter too. In your own struggles, remember that laughter doesn't mean you're ignoring your pain. Sometimes, it's the purest way to carry it. To acknowledge it, without letting it win. Now, with all these hidden gifts working together, intuition, persuasion, reinvention, and humor, Gemini becomes something truly powerful. A soul that navigates life not through force, but through flow. Not through control, but through connection. And that is a kind of protection few ever understand. But here's what's even more surprising. The most profound secrets about Gemini's life path are still waiting to be revealed. Because in the final part of this journey, we'll uncover how Gemini reads human emotions like an open book. How their sense of timing connects them to something greater. And why fate itself seems to guide their steps in mysterious ways. The last 3 truths may be the most shocking. Or the most inspiring. Stay with me. What's coming next could change the way you see everything. Have you ever watched someone walk into a complicated situation and somehow, without even trying, they understand what's going on beneath the surface? That moment when everyone else sees only faces, but this person sees emotions. Feelings hidden in silences. Tensions no one wants to admit. That person could easily be a Gemini. You see, Gemini isn't just quick with words or ideas. Their real strength is often invisible. It's their ability to read people. Their mind works like a radar, scanning not just what's said, but what's left unsaid. They notice body language, pauses in conversation, subtle shifts in tone. And from that, they piece together the real story. Not the one people tell, but the one their emotions reveal. This sensitivity might surprise you. After all, Gemini is known for being social and lively, not deeply emotional. But beneath that bright surface, there's a mind that's constantly analyzing people's emotions. Not to judge, but to understand. And this understanding becomes their protection. They avoid toxic people before those people reveal their true face. They sense when a situation is turning dangerous, not through logic, but through emotional awareness. Their ability to read a room isn't a skill they learned. It's a part of who they are. If you're a Gemini, or you love one, you've probably seen this happen. They can meet someone and sense, almost instantly, whether that person feels heavy or safe. Whether that energy is good for their soul, or something they should avoid. And they trust that feeling. Even when others don't understand why they pull back. That's not overthinking. That's emotional intelligence at work. This ability also explains why Gemini often surrounds themselves with different kinds of people. They build networks, not just for fun, but for survival. By understanding others, they know who belongs in their life and who doesn't. And if you've ever wondered why Gemini seems to drift away from people without much explanation, now you know. It's not coldness. It's wisdom. But there's something even more mysterious about Gemini. Something harder to explain. They often find themselves in the right place at the right time. And it happens so often, you might think it's coincidence. But for Gemini, these coincidences feel like more than luck. It's like the universe is guiding their steps. Imagine this. A Gemini misses a bus, but meets someone important while waiting. They take a wrong turn and find a new opportunity. They randomly decide to switch jobs and end up starting a career that changes their life. These aren't just lucky breaks. It's something deeper. Divine timing. A subtle connection to life's hidden rhythms. Some people call it intuition. Others call it fate. But for Gemini, it feels like being nudged by an unseen hand. Their inner restlessness isn't aimless. It's their soul listening to that quiet call to move, to act, to choose, at exactly the right moment. And if you've ever felt like life is pushing you towards something, even when you don't know why, maybe that's your own version of divine timing. Maybe it's not about understanding the path, but trusting the steps. Like Gemini does. The key is to stay open. To let go of rigid plans. And to trust that sometimes, the wrong road leads to the right place. Their ability to connect at the right moment also comes from another source. Their natural optimism. Gemini's lighthearted attitude isn't just about being cheerful. It's a magnet. A force that draws blessings, people, and opportunities into their life. Because when you expect good things, you create space for them to arrive. Gemini teaches us that optimism isn't naive. It's powerful. It shapes reality. Have you ever noticed that optimistic people seem to get more chances? More second beginnings? That's not magic. It's mindset. When you believe life will open doors for you, you start seeing those doors. And that's what Gemini does. Their optimism invites protection. They believe that no matter how hard life gets, something better is coming. And that belief shapes their actions. They say yes to new experiences. They reach out to new people. They move forward, even when they're afraid. And life responds. If you're someone who's lost hope, someone who feels stuck in negativity, maybe it's time to think like a Gemini. choose to believe that life can still surprise you. Because when you carry light inside you, darkness finds it harder to stay. But behind all of this, there's something more. A reason why Gemini often succeeds without understanding how. It's their connection to what we call divine timing. They seem to arrive at the right moment, again and again. Not because they plan everything, but because they trust movement. They trust curiosity. They trust change. And by following that restless inner voice, they place themselves where life's blessings can find them. In the end, Gemini reminds us of something we often forget. Life isn't meant to be controlled. It's meant to be experienced. And when you trust yourself, when you stay open, when you move forward with curiosity and hope, life has a way of protecting you. But the most powerful truths about Gemini are still waiting. Because the final 3 reasons are not what most people expect. They are the most mysterious, the most personal, and perhaps the most controversial of all. If you're ready to discover them, stay with me. What comes next might just change the way you see your own life. Forever. Have you ever noticed how some people just feel life in a different way? How they pick up emotions hidden between words. How they understand people even before a single sentence is spoken. For Gemini, this ability is more than a skill. It's their quiet form of protection. It's their way of navigating a world that rarely says what it means. Geminis carry a special kind of social intelligence. Not the kind that's about being popular. Not the kind that seeks attention. It's deeper. More instinctive. They read energy. They sense the invisible. Walk into a room with them and you'll see it happen. They'll pick up on who's uncomfortable, who's defensive, who's silently crying for help. They listen to what others miss. And because of that, they often avoid emotional traps before they're even set. In relationships, this gift is their shield. They adapt their communication, not to manipulate, but to connect. They know when to soften their tone, when to pause, when to let silence speak louder than words. Their mind is fast, yes. But their emotional radar? Even faster. If you've ever wondered why Geminis drift away from people who once seemed close, this is why. Their mind notices patterns. Their heart senses changes. And when they feel the energy shifting, when a relationship no longer feels safe, they quietly step back. Not out of coldness, but out of wisdom. Out of the need to protect their emotional peace. But what makes this ability even more powerful is that Gemini rarely brags about it. They don't even always understand how they do it. It's simply part of who they are. A silent gift that guides them through life's complications. And maybe it's a gift we can all learn from. Slow down. Listen more carefully. Trust what people aren't saying. And when the energy feels wrong, trust yourself enough to walk away. Yet, even with all these inner gifts, perhaps the most beautiful protection Gemini holds is something many people never notice. It's their natural optimism. A lightness of heart that doesn't come from naivety, but from choice. Geminis choose to believe that better days are always possible. Even after life has hurt them. Even after people have let them down. They carry hope like a secret treasure. And that hope protects them from sinking too deep into life's darkness. Their optimism isn't loud. It's not fake positivity. It's quiet. Steady. Like a candle they carry inside, even when storms rage around them. And that candle? It keeps them moving forward. It draws good people toward them. It opens doors that others miss. You've probably seen this in someone. The person who keeps smiling after failure. The friend who encourages others even when they're struggling themselves. The one who says, "It's going to be okay," and somehow you believe them. That's Gemini energy. And that energy attracts protection. Because when you expect good things, you act differently. You speak with more kindness. You take more chances. You stay open. And life responds to that. Just like it does for Gemini. If you've lost your sense of hope lately, maybe it's time to learn from them. Not to deny your pain, but to carry hope alongside it. To believe that life can surprise you, if you let it. So, after everything we've explored, what does this all mean? Gemini isn't protected because they're lucky. They're protected because they embody qualities that invite life's protection. Their adaptable mind. Their restless curiosity. Their emotional sensitivity. Their ability to read people. Their playful humor. Their trust in life's timing. And above all, their quiet hope. And maybe that's not just a Gemini thing. Maybe it's a lesson for all of us. Because life isn't about being unbreakable. It's about learning how to protect your heart while still keeping it open. So if today's video made you think, if you saw yourself or someone you love in these words, don't keep that feeling to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs it. Leave a comment. Tell me what part felt like it was written just for you. And if you're not already part of this journey, subscribe to the channel. Because there are so many more hidden truths, so many more soul stories waiting for us to explore together. This is just the beginning. See you in the next video, where we'll dive even deeper into the heart of who you truly are.